Yaffee program on WVNN.
So apparently we are hitting Iran hard again. At least according to the latest news, according to President Trump, according to CENTCOM. It says Trump launches U.S. strikes against Iran. Honestly, this is what I want us to do. This is what I want us to do now when it comes to Iran. Walker, real quick, do you have the audio ready by chance?
I do.
Just go ahead and play the blockade song. Cut. Just play that. This is what I want us to do right now when it comes to Iran. All right, get the message. That's what I want when it comes to this. Focus the military on opening the strait, keeping it open, and destroying their ability to do anything about it. You are listening to the Yaffee program. This is the show where you can count on the latest news, the important guests, and the best analysis, all for your morning commute here on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. I'll give you more on Iran in a moment. There's a lot to talk about there. We do have the Alabama bullet points, the top stories from around the state. That'll be in the next segment. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to speak with Christopher Reed. He is host of The Daily Controversy. You can always check out his show, 2 to 4 p.m., right here on WVNN. We'll also, I'm sure with Chris, I'm going to talk about the latest with Dr. Fauci and everything else. Pleading the fifth, 111 times? So we'll discuss that and much more. Tommy Tuberville, I'll play some cuts of him because he was reacting to Fauci, says Fauci should have been arrested at the hearing. We're also going to speak with an expert who's with the Heritage Foundation, Jennifer Gallardi, who has been keeping track of the story when it comes to Dr. Fauci as well. So we'll get to that in the next hour. We have What's Trending later on. Walker is here producing today. By the way, she'll do What's Trending. Walker, how are you today?
I'm doing good today. I saw a funny car sticker on the way to work, and it was a raccoon holding a knife. And it said, "Let me merge."
Oh, no. Sorry. It should have been Jimothy, but go ahead.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, that I wish it would have been Jimothy holding the knife.
What did it say, though?
Let me merge.
Oh, just okay. That's new. All right. The trash pan is getting a little violent these days. Okay. Okay. All right. By the way, I did not, because you had it in What's Trending. Yesterday was Wing Day.
Yes,
National
it was.
Wing, and I didn't have any wings. I'm very upset about it.
I didn't have any either. I'm also sad.
Yeah, it kind of ruined it for me. I'll just pretend it was today. I need some wings.
Pretend.
All right. Here's the latest out of Iran. I want to get your reaction on the Yaffee text line. 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. So CENTCOM has confirmed new strikes on Iran. So U.S. forces launched fresh strikes against Iran at 8 p.m. Wednesday. And what U.S. Central Command said was a powerful response to Iran's attempted attacks on American military forces in the Middle East. They said U.S. forces began launching strikes against Iran at 8 p.m. The strikes are a powerful response. I mean, okay, the quote is basically what I just said. Anyway, we also have where, let's see if there's anything. U.S. sanctions Iran's shadow insurance empire. That's a big story. So hopefully this is actually going to get something done here. But I do have to ask, the next question I have, what comes next? I think a lot of Americans are asking that. Okay, if we're going to up military strikes against Iran, what is the end goal here? What comes next? And as I said for a while, I think wasn't it Senator John Kennedy last week said that he's all for Trump, but he thinks Rubio and Pete Hegseth should be out there on the forefront messaging to the American people what's going on with Iran. That one of the biggest issues since the beginning of this, when it comes to the war against Iran, has been messaging from the White House. We're getting a lot of confused back and forth messaging. And I know Trump wants to do that to, quote unquote, make a deal. But you can't rally the American people behind a war if they don't know what you're doing, if they don't have the message. So that's kind of a part of it. But what comes next? Now, I know I've been playing a lot of cuts lately from retired General Jack Keane. He's with Fox News. But he's been the best on this issue, on the war. The best at explaining it, the best on what to do next, the best when it comes to how to deal with Iran to begin with. So I want to play some more cuts because he was on Fox again yesterday. Go ahead and play a Jack Keane cut 1 for me, Walker.
We truly really have to step back and reassess the strategy that we've been undertaking. You know, for our audience, just to recall for them, after 38 days of epic fury with a couple of more weeks to go, we went to a ceasefire on April the 7th. We began negotiations on April the 8th because the Iranians were telling us that they would be willing to open up the Straits of Hormuz, which they put in place their interference back on March the 2nd. So here we are, almost 4 months now in the negotiation phase, and what do we have to show for it? Are the Straits of Hormuz open? No, they're not. As at the attack last night was intent to kill Americans, make no mistake about it. Intelligence provided by the Russians going right back at the base where Americans did indeed die before with their most sophisticated ballistic missiles were pounding themselves into those targets. And as the president noted, we defeated every single one of them.
So talking about a recent attempted attack by them where we defeated it, we blocked the missiles, which is good. But he's right. If the whole point of the ceasefire, if the whole point of negotiations was to get them to open the strait, they haven't done it. So what's next then? We either open the strait ourselves, pry it from their cold, dead hands, or we should just leave. We should just bomb Pickaxe Mountain, a couple of their other nuclear sites, and just leave, I guess. Go on and play a cut 2 of Jack Keane.
But when you look at this now, almost 4 months, we don't have the Straits of Hormuz open, which was the initial ploy to stop this, to go to the ceasefire. And secondly, are we any closer to a nuclear deal, which are the two imperatives here? I think not. We have to face it for what it is. These off-again, on-again negotiations are leading us nowhere. Secondly, in terms of Iran's violence, we are going up an escalation ladder. They hit us, we come back and hit them hard. They hit us again, we come back and hit them harder. This escalation is piecemeal. We need to go back to what you said, major combat operations with the Israelis, with the comprehensive target list, where we put maximum pressure on everything at the same time. This is what absolutely puts a regime towards a collapse. What am I talking about? We start, certainly, an all-out attack on ballistic missiles, drones, IRGC organizations, and leaders. We take down everything to do with energy in terms of economic value to them. Oil and gas, we destroy it. Take it away from them. That alone, added to the blockade, will force a collapse dealing with this system.
Does anyone disagree with that? By the way, if we're going to do this, we need to work with the Israelis. No tit for tat, but full military operations to take the strait from them. Or maybe just bomb and leave. I go on to play cut 3 of Jack Keane.
The other thing we can do with them is isolate Iran from its neighbors because they're trading with them. Shut down the rails, shut down the roads in and out of these neighboring countries. Shut down the airports as well as the seaports. Isolate Iran. It's a sense of a quarantine on top of them. And then open up the Straits of Hormuz. We know they're not going to open it. We have to forcibly open it. We've already done a lot of work in that end. And then, Larry, I totally agree with you. We need to conduct a combined CIA and Mossad operation to, one, undermine the regime and all of the sub-objectives to do that, and number 2, provide assistance to the Iranian people so they can resist. These are within the means of these two extraordinary organizations. We'd be working covertly to achieve an objective for the first time, just as our conventional militaries are working. The two most proven militaries in the world today are working together against a common objective and sharing the values that we have. This reassessment, I think, has got to take place now.
By the way, on that, because he constantly talks about we need to work with Israel, I know Benjamin Netanyahu was talking about this to reporters yesterday. He was at the White House this week. He was also there for Lindsey Graham's funeral. Go on and play the Netanyahu cut for me, Walker.
He's got basically 3 options. 1, to indeed succeed in making a deal. 2, to continue the blockade. 3, to take military action. Anything that will produce the end of Iran's nuclear program is what we want. That's our common goal. We talked about it. It's up to the people of Iran in the end to take their own destiny in their own hands. I think Iran is weaker than ever before. I don't think the Straits are going to be that powerful a leverage because people will move the energy pipelines out of the Straits to the Red Sea, from there to Israel and the Mediterranean. We can unblock this choke point, and we will. No, it didn't mislead anything. And the president didn't need to have, nobody tells President Trump what to do.
I mean, that last part's for sure. Despite the conspiracy theories about Israel, I think he's right on that. If you want to weigh in, we have the Yaffee text line, as you know, 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. We'll get to the Alabama bullet points coming up next. Christopher Reed will join me at the bottom of the hour. This is the Yaffee program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. We're back here on the Yaffee program. I am Alabama's voice of reason, Huntsville's conservative conscience, and don't forget, if you miss any of the show live, the podcast will be up on the website, WVNN.com, or anywhere you subscribe and get your podcasts. Christopher Reed will join me in just a few minutes, but right now, let's get to the headlines. We have the Alabama bullet points.
Alabama bullet points. Today's headlines from around the Yellowhammer State.
Sponsored by Larry's Pistol and Pawn, and you can go to pistolandpawn.com as well. Number 4 today, Attorney General Steve Marshall says that sports prediction markets are also subject to state law. This has been kind of controversial because the Kalshi markets, apparently it's illegal to use them. But Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall and 43 other state attorneys general sent a letter to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission arguing that sports prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket, they let users buy and sell contracts on sports events, fall under state gambling laws rather than federal oversight. Now, the AGs contend that The proposed rule that they put forward before on this exceeds its statutory authority order under the Commodities Exchange Act, and it conflicts with the Constitution as well. So, most gambling's illegal in Alabama, but this was a way to get around it, and they're annoyed by that. Number 3 today, Alabama Sheriff's Association is backing flock cameras amid national controversy. They say the law enforcement must also embrace and take advantage of every avenue. Now, I've seen a lot of people, conservatives, lawmakers, who I really like and I'm friends with, disagree with them. They hate the flock cameras. I think they're exaggerating a little bit, but the Alabama Sheriff's Association has expressed cautious support for Flock Safety's automated license plate reader cameras. It's amid growing national controversy over mass surveillance technology. While critics view the systems, which track vehicle movements and have appeared unannounced on roadways worldwide, they see it as invasions of constitutional privacy rights. Supporters see them as vital tools for locating suspects, missing persons, and generating investigative leads. But the Sheriff's Association put out a statement on social media backing them. Number 2 today, Tommy Tuberville and Katie Britt, both of our U.S. senators, are co-sponsoring a bill to protect the Daughters of the American Revolution membership standards. So U.S. Senators Tommy Tuberville and Katie Britt are co-sponsoring the Daughters of the American Revolution Membership Integrity Act. Now, this was introduced by Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn, which would amend the DAR's federal charter to restrict membership to biological women who meet the group's existing genealogical standards. Now, the legislation responds to the DAR's recent non-discrimination provision that its leadership has interpreted as allowing biological men to join. Tuberville, Britt, and Blackburn criticized the change as contrary to the organization's founding purpose of honoring women's ancestral ties to the American Revolution, with additional support from Senators Kevin Cramer and Mike Lee. House companions, backed by Alabama Reps Gary Palmer and Robert Aderholt, are also there. And number 1 today, Senator Tommy Tuberville and Congressman Barry Moore, they condemned Dr. Fauci for pleading the fifth during the hearing yesterday. They say he should, well, this is what Tuberville said, a quote from him. He posted this on X. He said, he should leave today's hearing in handcuffs. So U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville and U.S. Representative Barry Moore sharply criticized Dr. Anthony Fauci for repeatedly pleading the fifth during a Senate Homeland Security panel hearing on his COVID-19 response, with Moore calling him a disgrace for refusing to answer for the harm caused to American families, while noting his private diary entries about rising fame. And Tuberville, of course, demanded that he face lawsuits or court over tens of thousands of Alabamian deaths. He also talked about the lockdowns, damage to children, experimental vaccine side effects, and alleged lies, especially after Senator Rand Paul released diary entries purporting to show Fauci lied to Congress, while noting Fauci had been pardoned by President Biden. So we'll definitely talk more about that. I'm sure Christopher Reed has a lot to say on that issue and the Fifth Amendment and everything else. We'll talk about that, Iran, and much more next with Chris. Right now, I'm going to talk to you about my good friends at Larry's Pistol and Pods. Best place to shop in town for guns and jewelry. Yeah, two very different things, but they have a great selection of both. So there's the Madison location off Greenbrier Exit 3. It's next to the big Rusty Water Tower. You've seen it. Another location in Huntsville off North Memorial Parkway. But even better yet, you can go to the website right now and see some of the website-only deals. So if you go to pistolandpawn.com, click on the website specials tab, and there are a lot of different firearms and firearm accessories that you can get for a really great price right there online. It ships from their warehouse for pickup in Madison, or you can have it shipped to your selected location. So go to pistolandpawn.com and see some of the deals there as well. But better yet, go to the store. Great customer service. You can put jewelry on layaway, which is awesome. And they have, like I said, a huge selection, not just firearms, but also ammunition, which a lot of people need. Some places don't do a good job at stocking up on ammunition. They do. So go to Larry's Pistol and Pawn today, pistolandpawn.com. When you do, let them know you heard about it from Yaffee. Much more to get to on the Yaffee program. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Yaffee program on WVNN.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, I'm Chris Van Vliet. Go behind the scenes and beyond the headlines with the biggest names in pro wrestling and beyond.
Mr. Sandman. All I ever wanted to be was a pro wrestler. So I got to live my life and make people really happy.
The Heartbreak Kid himself, Shawn Michaels.
Do you think there's anybody better than you were?
I think I was great at what I did, and I think other people were great at what they did as well. Greatness is more a mindset, I think, than anything else.
Mindset, motivation, insight with Chris Van Vliet. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
We're back here on the Yaffee program. This is News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Don't forget to like the Yaffee Facebook page. Follow me on X at Yaffee or Instagram at Yaffee Live. And, of course, you can follow WVNN on all those places as well. Joining me on the show right now is Christopher Reed. He is host of The Daily Controversy. Check out all of his stuff at thedailycontroversy.com. And, of course, he's on social media. You can check out the podcast there. He's also a retired lawyer. Chris, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing great.
So I wanted to ask you about the latest in Iran. You and I have been pretty hawkish on this. We're tired of the middle way that's kind of been approached, where it's like we have a fight, then we have a ceasefire, then we have tit for tat. Some are saying we need full-scale military operations, hit all these things all at once to really get them to bend. We had some operations last night. Trump apparently told Fox he's done with them, basically, and it was cussing and everything else. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to deal with reality as it is, right? Like, I understand Trump really tried the peace route, the ceasefire route, the carrot, we're going to give you $300 billion and we're going to let you trade oil at free market rates, and we'll do all these nice things and then they just spit in his face and then didn't do anything that we liked. And I think the problem right now is the escalation ladder is too slow. Like, Trump did escalate significantly yesterday. Let's just be clear. He finally took out some serious sites, probably did about 5 to 10 times more damage yesterday he did in any of the previous nights where we were shooting their sort of pinprick attacks. So he's expanded it out. But really, if you want this thing to end, and again, it's really hard to win air wars as far as complete wins. We're looking for more of a submission and a ceasefire with these people, at least temporarily. You need to, like we've said, bomb the energy plants. You have to, and one thing that we have to do, which we're not doing, we've got to bomb all the railways in and out of Iran, because what's happening is Russia and China are able to resupply their proxies. And to be fair to them, we resupply our proxies, for example, during the, Ukraine war. We went after Venezuela, which was a proxy of theirs. So I'm saying, this is something major powers do. But in order to, neuter them, I think doing something like that would be key. We've already blocked them from the waterway. But blocking the landway, and then also maybe make it impossible for people to fly in and out of Iran. So escalation, but escalation quick. They want to do a 14-day massive attack to destroy what's left of their military-industrial complex, and that is a great idea. But I think if you're going to do a 14-day, you got to do this other stuff, and because that would keep them from getting resupply, which would make them a lot more willing to at least submit, because it would take months for them to rebuild those things.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the main focus should be on getting the Strait of Hormuz open, right? Making sure it's safe enough where ships feel comfortable traveling again. It takes time, but I tend to agree with you. The only way to do that is really destabilize them enough. You can go after a lot of their military infrastructure, like you said, but you only need a few drones to really make a problem there. So you have to really hit them hard in order to make the Strait of Hormuz safe again, right?
Yeah, and I think Trump, and I'm almost certain they're going to do this, because just from what I'm hearing with the meeting with Netanyahu is going to do some form of decapitation strikes. Maybe not against the political class, but definitely against the military leadership during this 14-day window. So I think doing that along with what we're doing here could be very, very effective. I think the problem is, and Trump's a great president, best foreign policy president of our lifetime, Trump tends to want to find off-ramps. And I think he's going to have to look at this in a way that says, okay, I'm not even going to look at the off-ramps, no matter what they say, for this 14-day period. And then after that, after I've done all this damage, we could potentially talk about the off-ramps. But you're right. The number one goal is opening Strait of Hormuz. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is not completely closed. I listened to an oil expert, and he said, look, if the Strait of Hormuz had been actually closed completely from February 28th to now, oil would be $200 a gallon. So they're getting oil in and out of there. They may be doing it in the dead of night, taking their transponders off, doing some of that by land, shipping it to smaller boats. Now, they're not getting as much, but if they weren't getting any, oil would be $150, $200. So they're still getting things through, but what we want is it to go back to pre-war levels, which would drop oil and gas probably to the 65, 70, if that happened for at least maybe 4 to 6 weeks of stability.
Yeah, I heard Netanyahu as well saying, in the long run, Iran is not going to be able to use the Strait of Hormuz as leverage, mostly because they're figuring out other ways to get the oil to where it needs to go. You can go through the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, stuff like that. He said eventually they're going to build pipelines and everything else. What do you think about his comments there?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with Iran doing this is that you can do this. You can use your card, but if you use the card, people always find a way around. It's like we built the Panama Canal largely because it was incredibly expensive to move things from the East Coast to the West Coast. And we realized, like, hey, there's a small sliver of land. No one had ever even attempted it. But we found a way because it made sense with shipping. It saved the lives of tens of thousands of people that otherwise would have died in the storms across South America. So by doing this, Iran can play this card temporarily, but they know within maybe a year, maybe less than that, they'll be able to do pipelines going to the Mediterranean Sea, potentially to other places. So again, it's Iran. Once this chip is taken out from Iran, they're going to have no leverage. And that's the problem with them playing this. Short term, it gives them leverage. Long term, it makes them extremely vulnerable. It would have been better for them not to play this chip or to just go along with the MOU. But they're thinking in terms of, we don't care if we all die. At least the IRGC thinks that way, which is why they're acting like fools.
Speaking with Christopher Reed, he is host of The Daily Controversy. Someone else that I'm sure you're going to say is a fool is Dr. Fauci. He pled the fifth 111 times yesterday. There is talk that maybe they could hold him in contempt. Rand Paul said that. Josh Hawley said that because he has pardoned. So why is he pleading the fifth? And so he's refusing to answer questions and all of that. What were your thoughts on the hearing?
Dr. Fauci, I mean, like, he should never have been pardoned. And if he hadn't have been, I think you would have him on serious criminal charges. The problem is, like, the idea that that he's unable to take the fifth is just factually not true. Because, and I'll give you an example, the fifth you can take to prevent prosecution from federal and state, right? It applies to all forms of criminal prosecution. Minutes after that hearing was over, the Florida AG said, we're going to investigate Fauci for criminal prosecution. By doing that, you just gave him a perfect argument that the court is going to agree with, that, this doesn't just apply to federal crimes, it applies to state crimes. And therefore, unless he was to get, like, immunity from, I guess, every state, basically, or any state that could possibly prosecute him, then that's the only way I could see you forcing him to testify. because the pardon is not all encompassing. And he did go to different states and make statements and journal in his diary at those state locations. So if he was to actually give information yesterday, he could have put himself criminally liable, not for federal prosecution, but for state prosecution. So the courts are going to unanimously rule he has the power. I hate that. He should be in jail. I wish he was in jail, but just if you're asking from a legal analysis, there is 0% chance the courts will not allow him to take the fifth, and there's no way a court's going to force him to testify.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think about that. Even beyond the state thing, it's my understanding that pardon power is just pretty powerful there, and you can use the fifth because he could just say, right, that it would have been a perjury trap or something. Isn't that kind of part of it?
Well, if he would, I don't think that would have been his argument. I think the argument would have just been like, because then they could say, well, you have immunity, like you were pardoned for all this, so you can just tell, as long as you tell the truth, you have no risk. I really think the best argument for him is like, because there are multiple jurisdictions where I could be liable, I can plead the fifth. I think that's the main one, but I mean, the perjury trap made it unlikely for him to testify, and I think the best thing for him to do would have been, as far as Rand Paul, to just invite him to the committee and say, look, we're not here to go after this guy. We just want to, figure out what went wrong so we can do better and be really conciliatory and then go after him. So he's kind of caught off guard, and that might have worked. But when you announce publicly, we're going to try to get him on perjury, that's really stupid because, of course, he's going to take the fifth. So I would have been a lot more sneaky about it. Rand should have done that, but, a lot of these politicians are not as clever as they think.
Now, you had mentioned that you think he should be in jail. There was a lot of frustration from some conservatives yesterday because obviously he looked bad in the hearing, but no one was arrested, and there doesn't seem to be any consequences. So if, let's say he didn't have the pardon, what do you think he would have been charged with? Past perjury? There was talk about him making money off the office when all this was going down. What do you think?
Well, from a purely non-legal perspective, just giving a general idea of what I think, I would say perjury would have been a big one, but also I think you might have had, they could have investigated the criminal liability if he would have had a financial stake in EcoHealth Alliance or something like that. I'm not saying he did, but that would have been a method of investigation, because then he has a financial interest in protecting the idea that this did not come from a lab, because he had a connection to it. And then you have okay, is that criminal fraud? Again, I'm not saying any of those things would or would not have worked, but there would have been multiple avenues. There's a reason he wanted a massive pardon that was, a 10-year window or something. It was the most vague pardon I've ever seen outside of Hunter Biden. And there's a reason for it. And so I think you could have gotten him on multiple things. And he might have done a lot of those things outside D.C., which means you would have gone after him in federal court and in states that were had better juries. We'll just say it that way. So apart from that, I mean, I really think that that's where you get them. I mean, there might have been other things as well, but those would have been the main ones.
Christopher Reed is host of The Daily Controversy. Check out all of his stuff at thedailycontroversy.com. Joins me every Thursday on the show. Chris, really appreciate you coming on. I know we'll talk to you again next time.
All right. Sounds great.
All right, there you go. By the way, his show is also 2 to 4 p.m. right here on WVNN. He comes on my show every week, Dale's show every week as well. Right now, let me tell you about my good friends at Jay's Appliance Outlet. If you're looking for a great deal, they have some amazing deals right now when it comes to smart washers and dryers. You can discover the latest from brands like Amana, Maytag, Electrolux, and much, much more. So upgrade your laundry space with high-performance washers and dryers designed for efficiency, reliability, and everyday convenience. Explore the newest models and find the perfect fit for your home. And when you do, they're family-owned and operated. You get great customer service. You're not just a random person at a big box store. No, you're treated like family. I have had people go there and then contact me after and thank me for telling them about Jay's Appliance Outlet because they had such a great experience. So go to jaysapplianceoutlet.com. You can also give them a call, dial pound 250, say the keywords Jay's Appliance Outlet, Or so go see their showroom for yourself. They're located off 72 in Athens. Jay's Appliance Outlet. When you go, let them know you heard about it from Yaffee. So Tuberville had some interesting comments when it came to Dr. Fauci. So we'll get to that much more next on the Yaffee program. Stay with us.
It's the Yaffee program on WVNN.
All right, back here on the Yaffee program. News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN, making radio great again. Many of you won that T-shirt. It says "Make Radio Great Again" with, the Yaffee program on it. Hope you got it. Please wear it. Tell your friends about it. Why not? So we were talking about the testimony yesterday with Dr. Fauci. Did want to play this cut real quick as well because President Trump seems to believe that the pardon power, pretty powerful. They're not going to be able to arrest Fauci or put him in contempt or anything like that. He kind of poo-pooed that, I guess. So play the Trump cut for me.
About is the auto pen because the most powerful thing a president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful. They say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon, but I'm not sure that he signed. He probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the auto pen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the auto pen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
Okay, so he seems to downplay the idea that they could do something here. Now, Tommy Tuberville, one of our U.S. senators, is going to be our next governor. He thinks if you're not able to arrest him because of the pardon, maybe you could do civil lawsuits. You could at least hold him up in court for the rest of his life. I mean, he's in his 80s, so it wouldn't be, he's already pretty old. But go on and play Tuberville. He was on Fox Business yesterday. Go on and play Tuberville Cut 1.
What's happened, I was on the help committee when the COVID first hit. We went through probably every other week, maybe sometimes every month, we had a hearing with Dr. Fauci. We all asked him questions. He lied to us, and he knew he was lying to us because we found out all the information now since then. A lot of it even in his diary, Liz, but the problem is he hurt trust in this country. He put this country in a tailspin. He almost bankrupted our country with what they did. Between Obama and Biden, this guy gets Weasel of the Year award. I mean, he will eventually end up either broke or in prison because I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm eventually going to be the governor of Alabama. And we had the most of anybody per capita of dying in this country. And we're going to sue the heck out of this guy. He's going to court every day of his life for the rest of his life. And he's going to have to look these people in the face, these families, because the pardon does not cover state government. And we're going to go after him with everything we've got because the guy killed or had something to do with killing 9 million people.
So, Christopher Reed in the last segment kind of made the point that there's why he pled the fifth, that you can't hold him in contempt because you have Tuberville, other state lawmakers coming out and saying, well, we'll prosecute him on the state level. So you have the Fifth Amendment, so you don't incriminate yourself, and he could say you did it because of the state level. So Chris made a really good point in the last segment. If you missed the interview, the podcast will be up. Go on and play Tuberville Cut 2 for me.
Oh, yeah. You could see it in his eyes today, Liz. He knows he has gotten caught and he's in trouble. And again, it's not just the state of Alabama. You're going to have people from all over this country that's going to go after this guy. And again, whether he spends one day in jail or not, his jail will be a courthouse, a courtroom, standing on trial for killing innocent people because we knew at the end of the day that he lied to everybody about everything that he was trying to prove. He lied to President Trump. He lied to the American people, and it's going to come back on him.
All right, there you go. Fauci lied. China lied. and people died. The one issue I have with a lot of the focus on Dr. Fauci right now is it does kind of distract some of the focus from China. I mean, it really does. Dr. Fauci botched the response, and he did lie. The diaries show that. But none of this would have happened in the first place if it weren't for the Chinese Communist Party. Not only because they made this in the lab, probably, and I guess Dr. Fauci maybe was a part of that, but also because they covered up when it started to spread in the beginning. And we still don't have all the information because we're dealing with China. Now, someone responded and said, well, what can you do, invade China? No, I guess we're not going to invade China, but we need to make sure we decouple from them, our economy, not depend on them so much in the future. That should be the main goal. We're going to talk more about this, the health aspect of all of this, coming up next with Jennifer Gallardi. She's with the Heritage Foundation, a senior policy analyst. We'll do that next on the Yaffee program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
I will always have a complicated relationship with this game, but people evolve. So do sports. Do not make me regret this. Do not make me devolve back to that guy that so many clones wish that I still was. And do not embarrass the entire country. Now, I can go back. I can get there fast. Lose tonight, and you got a real problem. Do not blow it.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
You've been warned.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The Yaffee program on WVNN.
We're back here on the Yaffee program. This is News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Could not get a hold of our guest this hour, so we'll have to see if maybe we can get her on again in the future. Was an expert with the Heritage Foundation. Was going to talk about her reaction to the testimony of Dr. Fauci. She's also with Restoring American Wellness, so hopefully we can maybe get her on in the future. But there is something else I want to talk about, and I really do want to get your reaction. I'm sure there is a split among the audience on this issue, and I have to admit, I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit on this. But President Trump posted this recently, and I'll tell you what Tuberville said. Christopher Reed was on the show with me earlier. He kind of disagrees with me on this. Dale Jackson seems to agree. Former Congressman Mo Brooks was on Dale's show this morning and disagreed. And I'll kind of go over the whole debate here. But Donald Trump posted this. He said, when is enough for Republican senators? There comes a time when you must do what should have been done a long time ago, and something which the lunatic Democrats will do on day one, if they ever get the chance. Terminate the filibuster. Now, he put that in all caps. As you know, Tuberville supports Trump on this. So does Barry Moore and some others. He said, and get our airports and everything else moving again. So that was, I actually think that might have been, but he said, add complete. He said, also add the complete all 5 items, Save America Act items. Go for the gold. All right, so he is continuing to push to eliminate the filibuster, and Tuberville seems to agree. Let me read what Tuberville said about it, because he posted about it. He said, the Senate needs to roll up our sleeves and stay in D.C. for as long as it takes to pass the Save America Act. No recess, no weekends. We should be voting every single day. He said, nuke the manufactured filibuster and turn up the pressure on these America last traitors. So, by the way, I see the guest is calling me. Of course, they're calling my cell phone, Walker. It looks like they might have given me the wrong number, and that might be why. Might be why it not work. So I'm going to text you the correct number here in a moment, Walker.
All right.
And send that to you as we're on the air. As we're on the air, I'm going to try to do this. This is live radio.
Yeah, we got to get it done somehow.
Yeah, but I see now why. Because she was calling. I guess they gave her my cell phone. So she's calling my cell phone. So it looks like, yeah, they gave me one number that was incorrect. So that could explain why this didn't work. So hold on. Make sure I do this right. I need some hold music on for the audience here. As I'm trying to do this. Okay, I just texted you that. So go ahead and give her a call, Walker. We'll get to our guest on in a moment. But let me continue on my rant here. Let me know when she's on. But let me continue my rant here when it comes to the filibuster. And I posted about this on X. I also posted about it on Facebook, so you can agree or disagree with me. But honestly, the more I think about this, the more I think getting rid of the filibuster is a bad idea. Do we not realize that if there's no filibuster, Democrats will just reverse everything passed by Republicans as soon as they get the majority? Also, neither party has the votes to actually do it. Instead of constantly complaining about it, like Trump is, I think Republicans should have campaigned on protecting it. Instead, remind the American people that it's the Democrats that are radical on these issues, and that if we get rid of the filibuster, they'll be radical.
We have our guest.
Just a quick note there. Okay, joining us right now is Jennifer Gallardi. She's a senior policy analyst. She's with Restoring American Wellness as well. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on. Sorry about the misconnection. It was off. The number I was given was off by one number. So I'm glad we were able to get in touch with you.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So I just wanted to get you on and get your reaction to Dr. Fauci's testimony yesterday. I know you look at it more from a health standpoint than maybe a legal standpoint, but go ahead and give me your thoughts.
Well, I think my thoughts are the same as any sane American's thoughts, is that this man is a megalomaniac. He is responsible for, it's not one sole person's responsibility, but given his own self-promotion, who do you think we're going to point the finger at? He put himself at the forefront of the COVID pandemic as the voice of quote-unquote science. He said, I am the science, right? So he did this to himself. And yes, I'm not a legal person, so I can't speak to, how legal pleading the fifth for 111 times was. I have heard Josh Hawley speak on this, as I'm sure many of your listeners have, that he can't do that given the pardon he was given by Biden. But then that's also in question because that was probably done by an auto pen. So there's a lot of different threads going on here. But as a policy person, I can tell you this was one of the greatest public policy, health policy disasters in history.
Now, specifically, you're talking about the lockdowns or what else in terms of the policy?
Yeah, the lockdowns, the censorship of dissenting voices of people who did not agree with the lockdowns, the censorship of people who said masks aren't doing anything, his own waffling back and forth just to try to cover his butt. Given the money he funneled for gain-of-function research, and then as Josh Hawley so acutely pointed out yesterday, his own personal purse. He gained millions of dollars from, by soliciting money, and which is illegal. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Rand Paul did say they are going to put contempt of Congress to a vote next week. So we'll have to see, again, legally how it plays out. But, yeah, I mean, it was everything. People died alone. That to me was one of the greatest travesties. And I found it hilarious that one of the Democrat senators, what was his name? Senator Kim, spoke about the famous quote about being the man in the ring, and that of course he's going to come under criticism. That is about bravery, the man in the ring. Fauci did not dare greatly. He lied like a coward. So it's just the Democrats' response was unbelievable.
Now, I'm sure you look a lot at the damage the lockdowns did, not only on mental health, but of course, children, right? Education. That seems to be one of the things where even both sides kind of agree with that. right? That it was just not a good idea. Once we kind of understood that the virus really didn't affect young people that much, the school should have opened, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there was no reason for schools to close. We know that the virus, we knew this within a few months, that really the people most at risk were the elderly and those with one or two or more chronic diseases. So that's a whole other conversation about how viruses work, right? If you're healthy, sure, you get sick, but you recover, and that builds natural immunity. That was the other point brought up yesterday about how Fauci kind of squelched the discussion about natural immunity and didn't allow for that. So because that way he couldn't get the emergency authorization for the vaccine, which he wanted, if there were alternatives or if natural immunity was sufficient. Back to the education thing, yes, there was no reason to shut down the schools, but we saw it through his diaries, they were not his personal diary, like handwritten. These were found on a work server. So, you know, the hubris he has to write all this stuff down is amazing. But he did say, I talked to Bill de Blasio today, and I got him to close the schools down. And I talked to Governor Gavin Newsom's chief of staff, and California is closing the school. He was proud of these things. And I don't think he was proud of them for scientific reasons, like, oh, this is really what we needed to do. He was proud because his ego got stroked, because he said, oh, big people are listening to me. The mayor of New York City is listening to me. The governor of California is listening to me. It had nothing to do with the safety of children, with protecting children, with public health at all. It had everything to do with his fragile ego.
Yeah, it always amazes me, too, when he says, I didn't recommend the lockdowns. I mean, 2 weeks to slow the spread was his policy. I was there. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that long ago. We all remember him talking about it to the country. They just kept extending it after 2 weeks.
Yes, and that, I think once, this has been said many times and many times in reference to Fauci, is power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So once he got a taste, and he was kind of demure in the beginning weeks, right? He kind of took the back seat. I think Deborah Birx was more in the spotlight then. But once he got a taste and saw, that's what happens to people with fragile egos, I think. Once they get a taste of, oh, I'm being paid attention to, look at how this progressed and blew up. He was buddies with Jake Tapper, and he loved that fact. Julia Roberts and all these celebrities were calling him a hero, and that just goes to your head if you don't have, if you don't have a healthy relationship with, I'll say, God, that keeps you humble despite, attention, that reminds you who the proper order of things, who you serve. And he wasn't serving the American public. He was serving his own ego. So, I think he got high on his own medicine. High
Jennifer
on his own supply, I think is how the phrase goes.
Yeah, but we got what you were going with there. Yeah. Jennifer Gallardi is with the Heritage Foundation. Did want to ask you as well. I get, this is kind of a lesson that maybe we should not have the federal government in control of our whole healthcare system like Bernie Sanders and the Democrat socialists want. What do you think?
I agree. There definitely needs to be some disentanglement. I mean, that's one of the things Heritage serves with the department that I'm in, with the Restoring American Wellness thing, is to untangle this American healthcare system. We have this corporatocracy, right? We're corporations. There's this revolving door between our federal agencies and corporations, and they have undue influence on policy. And we're not allowed to make the decisions that are best for ourselves, for our families. We see this with vaccinations. We saw this with the COVID vaccine. You couldn't refuse it. And it's one thing for me. I mean, this is, again, my own personal experience. I was out in California for this whole time. So I really, I probably got the worst of it as far as lockdown's concerned. And you couldn't go to the beach, and they cut down the basketball nets, and they filled playgrounds with sand. I mean, you really felt the nanny state, the boot on your neck in that situation. And you really had to be brave. Like in some situations, there were religious exemptions, but in California, you really had to have a tough metal to kind of get through this. And some people, their jobs relied upon it, and they were coerced into getting something they didn't want. So when you have this whole system tied up into corporate interests or Fauci interests or one person, that really does start to feel like a nanny state, and you don't have medical freedom. So at the very least, there should be informed consent, which didn't happen during COVID, where people were fired. And we're really pushing for that kind of medical freedom. Now, like I said, my experience, the way I felt is like if you're going to these extreme measures, if you're shutting down schools, closing parks, can't even surf in the water, can't go in the most natural place that would heal people, which is the ocean and the sand and the whole diverse microbiome that helps our immunity system. I want to see people dropping dead in the streets. I mean, if we're going to this extent, I really want to see this as a imminent public safety risk, and it wasn't. We knew who was dying, like I mentioned. We knew what the right policy would be to shelter those people, keep those people protected. It was just it was way government overreach. We have to disentangle this system that says, oh, the FDA says something and we're all going to follow it. It's not healthy. It's not good science, and it's not leading to greater health for Americans, really.
Speaking with Jennifer Ghilardi, she's a senior policy analyst with Restoring American Wellness at the Heritage Foundation. You can read her stuff at heritage.org. I got to bring you on in the future. I see you have a piece here from earlier this year. Is weed quietly crushing fertility? And we're just out of time to talk about it today, but I really want to talk to you about the issue of marijuana in the future, because that seems to be one of those things. I just tend to believe we're going to regret our obsession with that drug. That's just kind of my opinion.
Absolutely.
My opinion.
You're not wrong. There's enough science to back that opinion. So
okay, good. See, I'm glad you said that. So we'll bring you on again in the future to talk about that, because I think it's important. Jennifer, really appreciate you coming on. We'll talk to you again in the future.
God bless. My pleasure. Thanks.
All right, there you go. If you want to react to any of that, you can. We have our Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866, and we'll be back in a moment on the Yaffee program.
The Yaffee program.
Welcome back to the Yaffee program. We are here on News Talk 770 AM 92.5 FM WVNN. There's a good conversation I had with Jennifer Ghilardi, and I'm going to have to bring her on again. I was just looking at some of her other pieces at heritage.org, and has a lot of good things to say when it comes to, say, the transgender issue, but also the marijuana issue, everything else. The consequences of progressive parenting. She has a piece on that. So I'm going to definitely have to bring her back on in the future. If you want to weigh in on anything, we have our Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866. Real quick, just back to what I was talking about. We have this push by a lot of U.S. senators on the Republican side. Not a lot, because they don't have the votes, but enough to nuke the filibuster. Now, first off, the constant complaining about it isn't going to change the reality that they don't have the votes. So what this looks like is infighting with Republicans, other than maybe uniting as a party to go against the Democrats and keep control in the midterms. I really think what Republicans should have done is messaged on, we're the ones to protect the Senate. We are the ones to protect you from big government. And the filibuster helps protect you from big government. Now, former Congressman Mo Brooks, he said that the only reason that doesn't work is Republicans never seem to have a filibuster-proof majority, so we can't pass things to reverse what's going on with the Democrats. But if you get rid of the filibuster, what's going to happen is if we pass something, the Democrats will just reverse it immediately when they get into office. And then when we get in, we'll just reverse it. And it's just this constant back and forth. I tend to like to, and I had someone comment on this, and I thought it was a good point. So someone on X said, unfortunately, you are right. The filibuster is good for our structure of government. As conservatives, we want a less powerful and slower acting government. Simple majorities are not compatible. So originally, the U.S. Senate was elected by the state legislatures. The reason for that is it actually was better for the people in those states, because they could talk to their local lawmakers if they had an issue and make sure they talk to the U.S. senators. But you hear from Democratic Socialists, they believe everything should be, quote unquote, Democratic. I mean, in the name. And democracy is good, but you also need checks and balances. Because the real problem in our government is it's too big. It's too involved in too much of our lives. It's given out too many goodies, and we're all fighting over the spoils. That has to be slowed down, but you can't seem to slow it down. You're not going to be able to slow it down if you get rid of the filibuster, I think. And if you're worried about Republicans never getting a majority, that's kind of the fault of our party then, right? But also, like I've said before, like Rush used to say, I live in Realville. And looking at the reality right now, the votes are not there to get rid of the filibuster. It's just not going to happen. So what do you do to message for the future to actually win and keep the majority? And just constantly complaining about the filibuster isn't going to do that. Now, I guess maybe it helps certain lawmakers in their local states or districts, but it tends to be where I am. I know many people disagree. I understand the temptation. I do, because I want to get this stuff passed too. I want the Save America Act to pass. But you start blowing up the filibuster, I think it's, as Dale said in his show, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. If you want to weigh in, you can. If you agree or disagree, I'll read your text on the Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866. Right now, I'm going to weigh in on my good friends at VIP Care. They are primary care with a heart for seniors. Their senior healthcare model and local clinics are designed for your comfort with same-day appointments. Yeah, same-day appointments. A lot of doctors don't offer that. More time with your doctor. A lot of doctors don't offer that. And a team of Medicare experts. You get the care you need so you can enjoy life. Now, this is for people 65 years or older, so maybe you or your mom or your dad or whatever it is looking for some better care. Go to getvipcare.com. That's getvipcare.com. And they have clinics around the state of Alabama, honestly. If you want to find one of your local clinics, just go to the website, and you can. Very easy to do, very easy to make an appointment as well. And you can get everything done in one place, which is really cool as well. We talk about the craziness of our healthcare system. They can help you out. GetVIPcare.com. When you contact them, make an appointment. Let them know you heard about it from Yaffee. Got what's trending coming up next. The Yaffee program rewind at the end of the show as well. We'll be back.
It's the Yaffee program on WVNN.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
I will always have a complicated relationship with this game, but people evolve. So do sports. Do not make me regret this. Do not make me devolve back to that guy that so many clones wish that I still was. And do not embarrass the entire country. Now, I can go back. I can get there fast. Lose tonight, and you got a real problem. Do not blow it.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
You've been warned.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
We're back here on the Yaffee program. This is News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Don't forget, if you miss any of the show live, the podcast will be up. It's a revolution in common sense. That's what we promise here on the show. Walker is here as well, so let's do it. What's trending with Walker?
Keeping you up to date with all that's trending in your world.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
You guys know how to post videos to Facebook?
It's What's Trending.
Sponsored by Coleman Furniture Market, located in the heart of Coleman, Alabama. By the way, they can deliver to anywhere in Alabama. That's what they did for me. They delivered to my home. So they're in Coleman. They delivered to Huntsville. And they staged it for me. They put it exactly where it needed to go. I got a desk for my office. They took it upstairs and put it together for me. And my wife was there. I wasn't even there. And I got home and it was all just ready. That's the kind of customer service they offer at Coleman Furniture Market. Now, when you go to their showroom in the heart of Coleman, Alabama, you can see it for yourself. You can talk with their in-house design team. They have financing options as well. Great deals going on right now at Coleman Furniture Market. So I want you to go today. And when you do, let them know you heard about it from Yaffee. All right, Walker, what's number 5 today?
Number 5 today. I know that you missed your opportunity for National Chicken Wing Day, but today is National Cheesecake Day.
Yuck.
You don't like cheesecake?
Gross.
No? Okay.
No, I'm one of those. I know.
Apparently, it was established in 1985.
Cheesecake Day?
Yes.
People love themselves some cheesecake. I'm weird because people love cheesecake. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah, Cheesecake Factory is doing a half price deal as well as
that's a good deal for them.
A new flavor that is Brownie Crunch Choc-a-Lot cheesecake.
Brownie Crunch Choc-a-Lot. See,
Yes.
a Brownie Crunch Choc-a-Lot sounds good, and then you say cheesecake, and I'm like, forget it. Why is there cheese in my cake? I just don't understand.
There is also Freddy's frozen custard cheesecake concrete that they are doing a $2.99 deal on. And then Junior's is doing half off slices and cakes in the restaurant.
All right, so you can get your cheesecake. I'm going to find somewhere to get wings.
All right.
That's my goal now. But those are some good deals. Those are actually some good deals. All right, what's number 4?
Number 4 today, a brewery out of Wisconsin called Minnequa is a brewing company whose alcohol permit will be revoked on August 4th after state officials seized canned beer from it, alleging transport from Illinois without required permits and taxes.
Oh, weird. Okay. Didn't know there was a thing. I mean, there are too many regulations on that kind of stuff, but.
Yeah, and the brewery, as described by the owner, Kirk Bongstad, is the state's most progressive brewery, as announced in a legal defense fund on July 26th.
What does that mean? They're progressive. What does that even mean?
They're very political, it seems.
Oh, okay. Huh, I don't know what that. What does that have to do with anything? But okay.
He was interviewed by FBI agents about a Facebook post referencing hashtag Free Beer Day after an alleged assassination attempt on Donald Trump on April 25th.
So it sounds like the brewery is claiming this is a political hit job against them, taking away their license.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
him and his attorneys have told FBI agents that they've never planned or wished harm on the president or vice president and do not support violent groups.
Okay. Well, I really know nothing about this brewery, so it's hard for me to judge, but okay. I'll see if that works, see if they can raise money.
But yeah, they're going to a legal fight after having their permit revoked, saying that it's because of the social media post.
I mean, 1, you'd have to prove that's why they did it. 2, were they guilty of the infraction, and was the infraction against the law? And 3, is this enforced in other places? I mean, that's basically what they're going to have to prove in court.
Right.
And if it turns out they're pretty strong at enforcing this everywhere and had nothing to do with the social media post, I guess. I'm not a lawyer, but I guess that's where this goes. Okay, what's number 3?
Number 3, in the Dominican Republic, a zoo has been confiscating illegal and smuggled animals, which has apparently become so big of an issue that they're running out of room. Last year, they seized 188 animals compared to 30 in the year before. And
so they're running out of room to store the animals that they've seized because it's such a big problem there.
Yes. Apparently,
An interesting problem to have.
Yeah. Apparently, the main animal that is often illegally taken are flamingos because they are sold to hotels that want to use them as garden ornaments. And
But they're real flamingos.
yes. And it is a trend that homeowners have started to follow.
Buying real flamingos?
Yes, real flamingos.
And just keeping them in their yards?
Right. And flamingos are a migratory animal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How does that even work? Do they chain them to the ground? Just because you put it out there doesn't mean they're going to stay there, does it?
I have no idea, but it's so bad that the flamingos are white because people are feeding them bread instead of the crustaceans and algae that they're supposed to eat.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is what would happen. Weird.
Yeah.
That is a very strange... Talk about a weird thing going viral. Buying real flamingos and putting them in your yard.
Apparently, officials are suggesting that people embrace species like the purple gallinule, which is a crane-like bird with iridescent feathers, which is very pretty. I did send you a picture of it. It's kind of purple, green, blue, and I think would look very nice and would take care of the flamingo
or
issue.
you just buy one of those fake flamingos.
Right.
Just put one of those up there. If you have a hotel, let's put a fake one.
Yeah, there's plenty of them available.
I guess not. That's pretty funny. All right, what's number 2?
Number 2 today, BTS has said that they are not going to submit music to the 2027 Grammys after an Asian pop category was added because they believe that it should just be a general pop category and not divided by region or language.
Man, that is so hard to do. I understand where they're coming from.
Right.
But, I mean, let's be honest, tastes are different in different locations. And so, like, a lot of this is subjective.
Right.
So if you do that and they don't win, if they don't ever win, it could just be because they're just not into K-pop, I guess. Plus, K-pop's become its own thing in a lot of ways.
It has. And I feel like it's such a hard thing to be able to feel like you're being inclusive to all of them because there's so many different subgenres of pop in itself.
And a lot of it depends on location and language. It just does. I mean, but I also wonder, I mean, they could still technically win. If there is an award for best pop song or album, they could still win. They technically could win both, right? There's nothing preventing them from winning best pop song or whatever, from what I understand.
Well, that's what I'm wondering now is if with this Asian pop category added, would they still qualify for the general pop category?
Yeah, I would assume they probably would. I mean, when you listen to K-pop in the U.S., isn't it in English or is it all still?
It's their songs are usually a mix of Korean and English.
Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, that would be the question I have. Do they still qualify to win the general best pop, even with this other category? So they could technically win both. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, I can kind of understand it because they feel like it's almost a downgrade, but how else are you, like you said, inclusive enough?
Right.
You would have to get rid of all the subgenres, basically.
Yeah, now I'm wondering if there are any subgenres within the Grammys.
I'm sure there are. There's got to be. I have to admit, I haven't watched the Grammys in a long time, but I would think, because I can imagine they have like, I don't know if it's not, do they have like Spanish music or salsa or I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I would assume there are. Somebody text and let me know. I'm assuming there are different subgenres of different categories that they have awards for.
Yeah, because the song Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters did win Best Song for Visual Media.
right
at the Grammys this year. So
that
it is
makes
possible.
Yeah.
Just because BTS has been nominated before.
Right.
But
I figured they would have.
Yeah, and they were the first ever K-pop band to receive a nomination. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, what's number one?
Number one, apparently women are saying that they have better fertility after taking GLP-1 drugs. For example, one woman that was diagnosed with PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome, said that after about a year of taking the medication, she became pregnant. After PCOS typically makes it very difficult to become pregnant. She said
so
that...
they're saying it helps with fertility?
Yes.
Oh. I wonder if just losing weight helps.
The PCOS does have some effects of
I'm
being
not a doctor.
overweight, but she did say that it did help her lose weight, but it doesn't say.
Well, what I'm saying is right now they're trying to see if correlation equals causation. Was it the
Right.
fact that it was the drug that helped her fertility to end up having a kid, or was it the fact that the drug helped her lose weight and losing weight helped her fertility and having a kid? I don't know, but you have to look at those different variables, I would assume.
Yeah, she's saying that she started the GLP-1 because of people saying that helped improve their PCOS symptoms.
Sometimes they find that. They'll find a specific drug for something else and realize it works with stuff like that. But then you just have to look at the side effects and everything. So, interesting.
Yeah. So.
Well, good though.
Good thing
'cause
all
they will have a
around.
kid. I think that's good. All right. Thanks, Walker. I appreciate it. We'll have the Yaffee program rewind in a moment. Stay with us.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
Was that on the reading part of the text, Walker? Welcome back to the Yaffee program. Newstalk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Was that on the air, Walker, when I was just like reading the text? You were talking about the text response?
The second half, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay, the texter knows what we were talking about. Welcome back to the Yaffee program. Appreciate you all joining the show today. By the way, you'll appreciate my good friends at the Huntsville Men's Clinic. That's right. If you deal with guys, talking to you specifically, or maybe girls, if you have a husband who has these problems, it could be caused by low testosterone. Some of the problems, low energy. You feel like you're living life in a fog. Your mind doesn't work like it used to. Maybe you have problems in the bedroom. You can't seem to lose weight. Could all be caused by low testosterone. It's easy to get that checked. But once you do, you also want treatments that work. Well, at the Huntsville Men's Clinic, it has worked for over 92% of men who have tried it. Now, they've been in Huntsville for 5 years, in Alabama for 15 years, and they're here to help you. They got new options as well. So go to the Huntsville Men's Clinic. Go to HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com to make an appointment today with real specialists when it comes to men's health. Powered by Men's Pro, Huntsville Men's Clinic, only $99 for that testosterone and PSA test. You get your results in about an hour. So I want you to make an appointment today, guys. And when you do, let them know you heard about it from Yaffee. All right, let's end the show like we usually do. We have the Yaffee program rewind. That time of the show where I remind you, if you missed any of it live, well, the podcast is up for you at WVNN.com or anywhere you get your podcasts. That includes the TuneIn Radio app, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, music, podcasts, wherever. Apple Podcasts, available all over the place. So at the beginning of the show, we were talking about Iran, as CENTCOM did confirm that they upped military strikes against Iran last night. And I had talked about, look, we need to go all in or not. If we don't think we can actually use our military to take back the Strait fully, then we need to just bomb every area where there could be a nuclear facility and leave. That's kind of my thought. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu talked about this because he met with Trump this week. Go on and play the Netanyahu cut, Walker.
He's got basically three options. One, to indeed succeed in making a deal. Two, to continue the blockade. Three, to take military action. Anything that will produce the end of Iran's nuclear program is what we want. That's our common goal. We talked about it. It's up to the people of Iran in the end to take their own destiny in their own hands. I think Iran is weaker than ever before. I don't think the Straits are going to be that powerful a leverage because people will move the energy pipelines out of the Straits to the Red Sea, from there to Israel and the Mediterranean. We can unblock this choke point, and we will. No, it didn't mislead anything. And the president didn't need to have, nobody tells President Trump what to do.
All right, there you go. So we talked about that. The podcast is up. We had the Alabama bullet points as well. The top stories from around the state, including Tuberville and his reaction to Dr. Fauci pleading the fifth. On that note, though, President Donald Trump says he basically downplayed the idea that they could prosecute Dr. Fauci, at least on the federal level, because of the pardon. Go in and play the Trump cut for me.
About is the autopen because the most powerful thing a president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful. They say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly, always, almost everything I sign directly. You're witness to many of them. He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon. But I'm not sure that he signed, he probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the auto pen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the auto pen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
All right, there you go. So it looks like Fauci is not going to be prosecuted. Tuberville kind of suggested maybe they could do lawsuits. But we talked about that. We also discussed that topic with Christopher Reed, who is host of The Daily Controversy. You can check out his show, 2 to 4 p.m., right here on WVNN. We also had Jennifer Gallardi on. She's with the Heritage Foundation and Restoring American Wellness. Also talked to her about Dr. Fauci and everything else. So if you missed that interview, the podcast is up. I gave my take on why I think it's a bad idea, at least right now, to get rid of the filibuster, even though Trump and Tuberville and Barrymore really want to do it. So we talked about that earlier on in the show. We did What's Trending with Walker as well. So if you missed that, the podcast of that segment is up at the website, WVNN.com. Thanks to Walker for producing today. Thanks to you for listening. The Vince Show is coming up next, and I'll be back tomorrow at the same time. See you then.
Yaffee program.
Scrolling with Haley.
I'm Haley Carania. I scroll with the homies here in the live chat because there's a lot to scroll through on X, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Cutting through the clutter, one hot take at a time.
Love seeing you all in the chat before the show. I tried to jump in just a few minutes before to say hello. I love the chat interaction. Thank you for helping. But I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else.
Scrolling with Haley.
Just search that up and I will be there.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.